Vocês vão assistir agora uma entrevista que a jornalista Daniele Duran fez com Frank Sinatra Jr. em Atlantic City, nos Estados Unidos.
Nós estamos aqui em Atlantic City e a gente vai conversar com Frank Sinatra Jr. sobre a turnê Sinatra by Sinatra, que vai ao Brasil em julho. Ele nos recebeu para conversar sobre esse trabalho e a influência do pai e da bossa nova na obra dele.
This will be a very nice visit to Brazil, actually. The one thing we have in our favor this time is that when we cross the equator, we are only going to Brazil. And that is kind of a help this time. It means we can concentrate on Brazil. Originally, we were supposed to include several other countries in South America, but frankly, I'm happier we're just going to be in Brazil this time. We'll be performing much music that was made famous by Frank Sinatra. And coincidentally, Frank Sinatra also worked with Antonio Carlos Jobim, and we're going to be doing Jobim music as well. And that's what's going to happen. We make music. We make music that the audience has known for many, many, many years, because the people who are the fans of Frank Sinatra who come to the show, they own the records. And they are familiar with how the music should be performed. So when I'm doing Sinatra music, as close as I can come in the live environment to sounding like the original records, the better the audience likes it. They now recognize that it sounds as it should sound. The influence I've had is the fact that my father's taste in music was the finest I've ever known. So I have always tried to emulate his taste in music. He loved the classics, and I was raised studying classical music. I was privileged to go to recording studios and listen to orchestrations like this orchestra makes when they were new, played by the best musicians around. And it has influenced me here as to what to listen for. To seek the perfection that I know is in the music. The orchestrations, the compositions of the music are done by the greatest orchestrators I think that ever lived in our era. Nelson Riddle, Billy May, Emir Deodato, Gordon Jenkins, Don Costa, Billy Byers, people from all across the world. And they were the best writers of orchestra music. So I know that the music contains the seeds of perfection. We just have to bring it out. I got to meet some people who I admired, people whose records I listened to, who I liked their talents, people who I'd seen in movies, who I enjoyed so very much. Well, that was really very, very... Well, look at it this way. Someone who's raised in a family that's in politics, they get to meet important statesmen, people like that. Well, I was raised in an entertainment family, so I got to meet people who were in entertainment. It's funny because I told Rafael, our producer, that in Brazil, if there are any concerts of Villa-Lobos music down there, this is Brazil's gift to the world of classical music, was Heitor Villa-Lobos. His things that he wrote are incredible. The same way, and Villa-Lobos was he died in 1959, so he was in the early part of the 20th century. Mm-hmm. In the latter part of the 20th century, when we had Mr. Jobim, he brought into popular songs something that Villa-Lobos had done in the classics, a whole new theory of melody and of harmony. Because everyone else that wrote songs or classical pieces, they were influenced by the European melodic structure or harmonic structure, or they were influenced by the American harmonic or melodic structure. But between Villa-Lobos in Brazil and Alberto Ginastera in Argentina, they had a whole new concept of music. And when I first started listening to their music, I went, when I heard this, because they were doing things that no one in the world was doing. when Sinatra worked with Antonio Carlos Jobim, he was attracted to Jobim's music because it was so different than the songwriters in Germany, the songwriters in France, the songwriters in England, the songwriters in Canada, the songwriters in the United States. Jobim was totally different. His harmonic structure, everything. You listen to his music and you can identify it. If you don't know that Jobim wrote it, as an example, if you listen to it for a while, you'll know it's one of his harmonic structures. Musically, it is completely different than the rest of the world. One night, many years ago, I was playing in Las Vegas, and the biggest music at the time was the bossa nova. I didn't realize that Jobim was in town. And he had come to the show, and my guitarist was on stage playing, and here's Jobim in the wings. And he came out and took the guitar and began to play. And it sounded different, and I turned around to look to see what happened, and here's Jobim sitting here playing, because he was working with Sinatra then. Now he was playing the legitimate Jobim guitar sound. That too is different from anything else, and I was stunned, you know. And the audience did not recognize him that night. But I was playing, and I said, by the way, everybody, so you'll know, we had a relief guitarist come on, you may have noticed. I said, you might like to meet him. This is Antonio Carlos Jobim. And the audience went, oh, and they all started to applaud very enthusiastically, you know, that he had come all the way from Rio. He was in Los Angeles at the time, recording with Sinatra. I have never been in Amazonia. Never been in that part of the country, and I'm looking forward to seeing it because you know that's like no other place on earth.
Absolutely.
What do they say about the Amazon region? It's something like 25% of the world's oxygen comes from that part of the world, and it's in danger.
Yep.
It's, you know, civilization is encroaching on everything, and that we cannot allow this to happen, you know. But it's naturally, I've seen the Amazon region in movies, but it's not the same as actually seeing it, you know. I've never been a celebrity. I've only been a musician, and I'm very happy to say that. Hello, everybody in Brazil. This is Frank Sinatra Jr., and I'm looking forward to seeing you very soon.